All right. So have you ever like found yourself wondering what it is, like what makes billionaires tick?
Yeah.
What sets their thinking apart, from everyone
Oh,
else?
for sure. Yeah.
Today, we're going to explore this idea of a billionaire brainwave. And no, not literal brainwaves, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be pretty cool, but
Right. That would be something.
that's a different show.
A whole other.
Different deep dive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more about understanding.
I think it's more about like understanding the patterns,
Yeah.
the habits,
Right.
even the pitfalls that come with that level of success,
Right. And look, we're not saying that everyone needs to be a billionaire.
No, of course not.
But there's definitely something intriguing about how these folks see the world.
Totally. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so we've got a stack of research, articles, some wild anecdotes, we're ready to extract some golden nuggets here for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's the fun part is like taking all this information and figuring out what we can actually learn from it and what's useful.
And apply. Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, I think it's not just about the money.
Right.
I think it's more about the framework for thinking for coaching challenges and opportunities in a way that, gets those extraordinary results.
Right. So, okay, let's decode this billionaire mindset. What are we seeing as common threads among these high achievers?
One of the things that really jumps out to me is this kind of long-term vision.
Okay.
They're not just thinking about like next quarter's profits, they're playing the decades-long game.
Right.
Like you take Elon Musk, for example.
Oh, yeah. Electric cars when everyone else is focused on gas guzzlers.
Exactly.
And
And don't even get me started on the Mars obsession.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, it's about identifying those future needs.
Right.
It's almost like they're looking around a corner that everyone else hasn't even spotted yet.
Right.
So, you might not be aiming for Mars.
Right.
But how can you adopt this kind of thinking in your own life?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for aiming high.
Yeah.
But like, how do we translate this to,
to like everyday
goals? Yeah.
Right. Well, I think, instead of just reacting to what's right in front of you,
right,
it's taking a little bit of time to actually visualize the future you want. What are those big dreams? And then what are steps you can take?
Right. Today.
Right.
To move in that direction.
I love that. But let's be real. Even with the best vision, things don't always go as planned.
Right.
Which brings us to another key trait.
Yeah.
Resilience.
Oh, huge. Yeah.
These folks, they don't just succeed.
Right.
They fail a lot.
They fail a lot. And I think that's a crucial part of it, right? It's not about avoiding failure. It's how they respond to it.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Think about Jeff Bezos and the Fire Phone fiasco.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That one didn't exactly set the world on fire, did it?
Yeah, it didn't really work out. But look at what he did with Amazon after that, right? They see those setbacks as, as data points.
Yeah.
Not as, full stops.
Right.
Yeah. So the question for you is, how do you reframe those moments where things go wrong?
Turn those oops into opportunities.
Exactly.
Easier said than done.
Right.
Sometimes.
Of course.
But I see the value there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got vision.
Yeah.
We've got resilience. What else is in this secret sauce?
We can't forget risk.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Billionaires are often seen as, huge risk takers.
Yeah.
But it's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
They're incredibly calculated about it.
Not just throwing darts at a board.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
It's more like strategic chess moves.
Totally. I mean, it really goes back to research.
Right.
Right. Like Warren Buffett famously said, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So they're obsessive about understanding the landscape before making a move.
So for us, mere mortals,
Yeah.
it's about asking, do I really understand the risks involved before jumping in?
Precisely. It's about mitigating risk.
Right.
Not about eliminating it.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah.
a little bit of risk can be a good thing, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Right.
All right, so we've got the vision, we've got the resilience, we've got that calculated risk-taking, but something tells me there's more to this billionaire brain than just numbers.
Of course.
And strategies, right?
You're absolutely right. Yeah. We can't overlook the human element here.
Okay, yeah.
And that brings us to a concept that's often misunderstood, but absolutely crucial.
Right.
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah. Now, that's a big one these days, but like...
It is.
Honestly, I feel like
it's kind of...
everyone defines it differently.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own, like, spin on it or their own definition.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So what's the, like, real deal with...
what is it really?
Emotional intelligence.
Well, it's about understanding and managing both your own emotions, right? Okay. But also the emotions of others. So it's kind of like a two-way street there.
Right, right.
You know? Think about someone like Oprah Winfrey, for instance.
Okay.
You know, her ability to connect with people on an emotional level has really been a cornerstone of her success.
Oh, okay. So it's more than just being nice, right? Yeah. It's about understanding what makes people tick.
Yeah, yeah. Understanding the whole...
Both ourselves and...
Yeah, both ourselves and others, exactly.
Others. But how do we actually get better at that?
Well, I think it starts with self-awareness, right?
Okay.
Like, how do you pay attention to your own emotional landscape?
Okay.
How do your emotions influence your actions? And then just as importantly, try to see things from other people's perspectives.
Right.
You know, it's about building those empathy muscles, which I think is something that anyone can work on.
Yeah. Interesting. So we've got this foundation of visionary thinking, resilience, calculated risk-taking, and this deep understanding of human emotions.
Yeah, that's a powerful combination.
Feeling inspired yet?
You know, we're just getting started because it's not just about thinking like a billionaire. It's about putting those thoughts into action.
Which leads us to the daily habits, the routines, the things they actually do to fuel this billionaire brainwave. What are we seeing as like consistent patterns here?
Well, you know, one thing that really stands out to me is the importance of structured routines, particularly in the mornings.
Okay.
You know,
like Tim Cook waking up at 4:30.
Right, exactly.
To hit the gym and plan his day.
You know,
talk about dedication.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, 4:30 sounds a little
doesn't have to be that intense.
Extreme for me.
Right. The key is finding what works for you.
Right. Right.
You know, Oprah, for example, swears by starting her day with meditation. You know, so it's about having a consistent routine that prepares you mentally and physically for the day ahead.
So we're not talking about some like rigid
no
one size fits all.
It's about finding what helps you feel grounded and focused.
Okay. So we've got our routines dialed in. What else can we learn from these?
Well, I think, you know, they're also incredibly intentional about who they surround themselves with.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I think successful people tend to gravitate towards other successful people.
Right. It's like that saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Right, exactly.
Who are your 5 people?
Yeah.
Are they inspiring you? Are they challenging you to grow?
I mean, think about Steve Jobs and the team he built at Apple.
Right.
You know, he was notoriously selective. But that focus on attracting top talent was really a key driver of their innovation. Makes
sense. So it's not just about who you know. It's about who you...
Yeah, exactly.
It's about being...
To surround yourself with.
Intentional,
Yeah. Find mentors, build relationships with people who are already where you want to be.
And of course, never underestimate.
Of course.
And the power of continuous learning.
Huge.
Billionaires are voracious consumers of information.
They are.
Right. Yeah. Constantly seeking to expand their knowledge and skill set. Right. Bill Gates reading like 50 books a year.
Right.
Okay, I admit I'm nowhere near that level, but I see the point.
Right. But it's about staying curious.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the world is changing faster than ever, so you know, what are you doing to keep your knowledge and skills sharp?
I love that. So we've got this combination of powerful traits, consistent habits, this constant drive to learn and evolve. It's pretty impressive.
It is. But, we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the other side of the coin.
Right, because
there are challenges that come with
exactly.
this level of success.
Of course.
Things that aren't always so glamorous.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Because, let's be real, it's easy to get caught up in the billionaire fantasy, but there's a whole other layer to this story that we need to explore.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's easy to focus on, the private jets and the groundbreaking innovations.
Right.
But we can't forget about the, the human cost.
Right.
That sometimes comes with that level of success.
That's a good point. I mean, we've all heard the stories about the loneliness of the cop, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Is that something that's really prevalent among?
I think it's definitely a recurring theme,
Yeah.
Imagine trying to build genuine relationships when everyone wants something from you, whether it's money or connections or just a piece of your time.
Yeah. It must be tough to know who's being genuine versus who's just trying to, get in on the action.
Exactly. And I think that, that constant suspicion, that lack of trust can lead to a real sense of isolation, even when surrounded by people.
So even with all the trappings of success, there can be this underlying feeling of loneliness.
Totally.
That's kind of heartbreaking, honestly.
It can be, yeah. And then on top of that, you have the immense pressure and responsibility that comes with managing, vast wealth and enterprises.
I mean, we're not just talking about
No, we're not talking about
deciding what to have for dinner, right?
Absolutely, yeah. These are decisions that affect thousands of employees, entire industries, sometimes even, global markets.
It's a level of responsibility that most of us can't even
fathom.
And that weight.
Yeah.
That constant scrutiny can take a toll.
Oh yeah. I mean, it can take a toll on even the most resilient individuals.
So we're talking potential burnout,
absolutely.
Anxiety, and maybe even
for sure.
some serious mental health challenges.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that success, even at this grand scale, doesn't automatically equal happiness or well-being.
Yeah. That's an important perspective. And I imagine there are some pretty significant ethical dilemmas that come into play as well, right?
Absolutely. When you have that much power and influence, every decision carries immense weight.
Right. Yeah.
It's not just about making money. It's about the impact you have on the world, the legacy you leave behind.
I'm curious, what are some of the specific ethical challenges that billionaires often...
Right. Well, they have to consider things like, how do I use my wealth to make a positive difference? How do I ensure my business practices are ethical and sustainable? How do I avoid, perpetuating systems of inequality?
Those are some heavy questions.
Right. And I imagine there's no easy answers.
Especially when you're operating on
such
a large scale.
A large scale, exactly. It's a constant balancing act, weighing personal ambition against social responsibility. And recognizing that even with the best intentions, there will always be trade-offs.
Every decision has consequences, and those consequences are magnified when you're dealing with billions of dollars.
Exactly. It's a level of complexity that's hard to grasp from the outside looking in.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, it's clear that the billionaire brainwave is much more than just
it is
a catchy phrase.
It's a complex interplay of traits and habits and challenges that shaped the lives of these individuals.
It's a fascinating glimpse into a world most of us will never experience.
But there are definitely some valuable lessons I think we can all take away,
right?
Regardless of our financial aspirations.
Okay, so we've explored the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
The mindsets and the habits that make up this billionaire brainwave. Pretty fascinating stuff.
Right.
But you know what's really striking me is that these qualities aren't exclusive to billionaires.
That's an important point.
Yeah.
It's easy to think, oh, that's just how billionaires are.
Right.
But really,
yeah,
these are traits and habits that anyone can cultivate.
Right. It's not about becoming a billionaire. It's about becoming...
Right. It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's break down some of those key takeaways and how we can actually apply them.
Let's make it practical.
Let's power our own lives.
Right. So, I mean, we started with this idea of visionary thinking.
Right.
Right. Now, you might not be planning a Mars mission.
Right.
But it's about having that long-term vision for your own life. Like, what do you want to achieve?
Right.
What impact do you want to make?
It's about thinking bigger.
Exactly.
Playing the long game instead of getting bogged down.
Yeah, getting out of that...
in the day-to-day grind.
Yeah, that day-to-day, like, hamster wheel.
Right.
Right? And remember, you know, even with the best vision...
Yeah.
Setbacks are inevitable, right?
Right.
But it's how you respond that matters.
Right.
You know, billionaires, they see failure as a stepping stone.
Okay.
A chance to learn and adjust.
So instead of letting those setbacks derail us, we can use them as fuel to propel us forward.
Exactly.
And when it comes to risk, it's not about being reckless, it's about being...
Right. It's not about just... you know,
YOLOing it
into something.
Right.
They do.
Billionaires do their research. They understand the landscape.
They understand the landscape before making a move.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So it's about asking ourselves, have I done my homework? Do I understand the potential downsides before jumping in?
Exactly.
And then there's that whole emotional intelligence piece.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Which, honestly, I'm starting to see in a whole new light now. It's not just
about being nice.
Yeah, it's about understanding those.
Right, it's about those
deeper.
Those deeper
human dynamics, right?
Human dynamics, yeah.
It's about self-awareness. It's about empathy.
Right.
It's about building those strong connections with others, and that's something that can benefit everyone, not just CEOs and world leaders.
Absolutely.
And what about those daily routines?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm ready to join Tim Cook at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely seeing the value in having a consistent...
It's not about the specific time.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you.
Right.
You know, whether it's meditation, exercise, or just, you know, a quiet moment to gather your thoughts.
Right.
Having that structure can set the tone for a productive day.
And don't forget about surrounding yourself with...
And of course, yes, surrounding yourself with excellence.
Excellence. Seek out mentors, build relationships with people.
Find those people.
Who inspire you to be your best.
Yeah, that inspire you.
And of course,
commit to lifelong learning.
To lifelong learning, right?
Yeah, I mean...
The world is constantly...
The world's constantly evolving.
So it's crucial to stay curious, to keep expanding.
Right. You got to stay ahead of the curve.
And skill set, I love that. So this billionaire brainwave, it's not about the money. It's about
a way of thinking. It's about a way of being.
Right. It's about a way of thinking, a way of...
It's about striving for excellence,
being,
embracing challenges, and using, you know, your unique talents to make a positive impact.
All right. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a challenge. What's one small step you can take today to incorporate one of these billionaire habits into your own life?
Right. Maybe it's spending a few minutes visualizing your ideal future.
Yeah.
Maybe it's reaching out to someone you admire for advice.
Right. Or maybe it's just committing to reading one insightful article a week. Or being more present in your interactions with others.
Even small changes, right?
Yeah.
Compounded over time.
Right.
Can lead to extraordinary results. Remember, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
It's about embracing that mindset of growth, innovation, and a relentless pursuit of your full potential.
I love it.
So keep learning, keep growing, keep pushing those boundaries.
You never know where those small steps might lead you.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the billionaire brainwave. We'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration.